This has to be most likely the best chapter I have personally read from Attack on Titan in maybe a year or two. I'm not saying previous chapters are bad. I'm just saying this chapter signifies what everything stands for when it comes to Attack on Titan. So many throwbacks to the beginning of the series that it was just mind-blowing. There was so much nostalgia put into this chapter, I couldn't even believe it. I mean, some of the things in this, like, I mean, to the people they've lost, to some of the lines, to finding out, you know, it's just been 3 months, and then the final operation is commencing. Like, that one scene in this chapter, like, the one scene where you see it where Erwin, he puts up his fist, he's like, yeah, and, you know, he roars, and everybody below roars too, like, you know, saluting them off while they're about to go off and do the final operation, retake the wall. It was such an emotional scene for me, because that is where the series started. Like, let's really think about this, okay? One of the most iconic scenes of Attack on Titan was definitely the Colossal Titan when he first came about. He appeared. It was one of the most iconic scenes in the series. And I mean, usually when people think of Attack on Titan, they think of the Colossal Titan and then, you know, the situation at the wall. Like, seeing that in this chapter, and then seeing other little throwbacks to the first couple chapters of Attack on Titan to the beginning of the series, it was something that hit me on an emotional level when it came to reading this, because thinking about it, I've been reading this series for years. Like, I've been reading this series before the anime was done. Like, I started reading the manga when the anime was on episode 5. Like, yeah, after episode 5, you know, with the crazy twist on episode 5, I started reading the manga since then, and I think there was only like 30-something chapters out at the time when I caught up to the manga, and it's so crazy, because it's been a long time I've been following the series, and to see what I am witnessing in this chapter, it's like we're getting into the final stretch of the series. Like, it really felt like that final stretch. Like, this chapter made me feel like everything is coming to an end. Like, that's the type of chapter this felt like to me, because when you see it to how, you know, Eren and all of them, they were saying, like, we need to make way for the next generation, and they were having throwbacks to how they used to be when they were younger, like, you know, when they were in the Survey Corps before they became experienced veterans. They were kind of childish, and they still are kind of childish, but I mean, they were kind of not aware of what was really out there, and then seeing it to where, like, Eren and them, they were looking at these new soldiers, and when they were talking to them, like, you need to stay in the back, because we're not going to send our new recruits as cannon fodder on the front lines. There was a lot of things that reminded me of the original, how much growth and progression our characters have gotten since the starting point, and that's what type of chapter this is. Like, this chapter was fucking amazing. In terms of artwork, like, I don't talk about Attack on Titan's artwork much, and I know Attack on Titan's had a lot of controversy when it comes to its artwork, because for it to be a monthly manga, and for it to, you know, be a very well-known series, in the past, when I first caught up around, you know, chapter 30 or so, and even up to the time around the 40s or 50s, the artwork wasn't the best. It wasn't. And looking at this chapter, I mean, looking back, I actually went back and grabbed my Attack on Titan Volume 1 out just to look at it. I looked back at, you know, Volume 1 of Attack on Titan, and then I looked at this chapter, and the artwork is night and day. It is just so much progression since the start of the series, too. Like, you could tell the growth of the mangaka when it comes to the series. Like, the growth the mangaka has done through his journey of writing Attack on Titan, along with, you know, the journey us readers have taken while reading this story. And the chapter, on an emotional level, I really say, I think this is one of the best chapters I've read in years. Because regardless of, you know, different chapters that have been really awesome or thought-provoking, revealed so many details, just a chapter like this that reminds me of where we started and how far this series has come, it's emotional. It definitely is. Now, of course, not everybody's going to feel as emotional as I did, because, I mean, everybody looks at anime and manga differently. But in terms of the way this chapter is done, on point. How do you all feel about, you know, the death flags we got with, you know, finding out that Erwin might die? How do you feel about all the other setups and situations, and most likely, you know, our MCs might die on the journey of what they're about to do? How do you all feel about this? Let me know in the comments below. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.